get to Rick Neuheisel, the former coach, and he was working for CBS, SEC title game, and kind enough to join us. All right, Rick, when you went to bed Saturday night, what did you think was going to happen with the committee on Sunday?
I thought exactly what transpired would transpire. I had it right. I said it on the end of our broadcast at the SEC game that I envisioned Louisville winning the game because the third string quarterback would play for Florida State. Congratulations, Florida State's defense, for playing so brilliantly. But I did think that the SEC's champion would find a way in, and by means that Alabama was in that role, they'd bring Texas with them.
Why did Florida State get left out?
First of all, it's crushing for all of us who coach, knowing what Mike Norvell is going through. I saw his face as he got the news on that screen, and it was, devastating. Can only imagine, because what else do you do other than win all your games? But there's the SEC and the Big Ten. I think Washington, Dan, should be the number one team. Washington's in the better conference this year. The Pac-12 is a better conference. They beat Oregon twice. Michigan has the Ohio State victory, who's already jettisoned their quarterback. Michigan's victories, Iowa was 133rd in offense. Michigan State was 128 in offense. Minnesota was 125th. Rutgers was 123rd. Nebraska was 118. Indiana was 101st. East Carolina was 130th, and Bowling Green was 105th. That's their schedule. And they had 1.9 yards per carry against Iowa, less than 5 yards an attempt against Iowa. Washington should be one. And so here's my point. My point is the Big Ten and the SEC are always going to get in because they move the needle television wise. It's nothing that's discussed in the meeting room. I don't think anybody sits there, well, these two are in, but they're in. They have to be in, because they can take their ball and go home. I was with Larry Scott when the college football playoff was discussed, and it was adamant amongst many of the commissioners that the four teams had to all be conference champions. Yeah. Mike Slive said no, and he was going to say, I'm not in if we don't do it this way. And he wielded that kind of bat. And I don't say it because he's bad. He had that kind of influence, and he was taking care of his conference. So Michigan, as the Big Ten champ, has to be where they are, and Alabama as the SEC champ has to be in, and by virtue of Texas's victory over Alabama, they're in as well. I would tell you, if Georgia would have won that game, it would have been Texas out. Florida State would have been in. I truly believe that.
Okay, does Georgia have a gripe of not being in the Final Four?
Sure, but there's just no room at the end this time. They can't get in over Alabama. And they can't get in because Texas beat Alabama. There was no room.
Yeah.
This is just one of those weird years where we've got so many really, really talented teams at the top.
I wonder, maybe it's conspiracy theory, that the playoff committee goes, Michigan, you're in. Sign stealing scandal. Your reward is you get Alabama.
Maybe so. Because, again, I thought that Michigan should have been behind Washington. Now, the only metric that they can say Washington's behind Michigan is, game control. Michigan pounded lesser opponents. And I just went through that resume list. By the way, have you ever heard of a team going into a game where they over-under of the first half point total is 1/2? The new fight song at Iowa is "How Low Can You Go?" The Limbo song.
I know.
It's incredible.
I know.
But I do believe that the team that would surprise me most winning it all would be Michigan.
Why?
I think Alabama, because they're the least explosive team of all of them. The other three teams have the ability to put up points and make big plays. I don't know that Michigan has that same kind of skill.
We're talking to Rick Neuheisel, former college coach, works for CBS Sports. Will we ever have this level of drama in the playoffs again?
I don't know that this level of drama will exist when we get to 12-13 conversation, because I'll be assuming the champion is coming 4 to 5 to 6. So I don't know that we'll get to this. So if there's a way to go out with drama, as with the exclamation point, this is probably it.
I think you could go back to when Auburn got screwed, when we had,
Oh yeah,
the
in the
BCS.
BCS,
Yeah, when they went
without
undefeated.
question,
So we had
without question.
3 teams undefeated, and then they got left out, and then that felt like that kick-started, well, you got to have 4 teams in. And now we go to 12. And how long do we stay at 12, in your opinion?
Great question. It will be determined by if we consolidate and bring down Division I to that kind of NFL-esque 48 to 64 teams. It will be determined by that. If we go to that, I would say that we'll eventually be at 16.
Who are you voting for the Heisman?
Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
He's been sensational. I had said that the winner of that Pac-12 matchup, if the quarterbacks are as advertised, and I thought Penix was brilliant. If he'd have had 4 touchdown passes rather than 1, just so the numbers for the voters would have been bigger, I think Penix would have had a fighting chance. But that was that's been a brilliant run for Kalen DeBoer at Washington.
Is there anything more dangerous than Nick Saban in the playoffs in college football?
Nothing.
No,
nothing. Yeah, he delivered. I'm from the Church of Saban, and hallelujah. He delivered a perfect sermon on Saturday. I mean, the guy is just sensational. He's sensational, and the Jalen Milroe story is one for the ages.
But you know what's interesting, Rick? And I mentioned this earlier, that he was in a spread offense when he was in high school. He didn't run.
Right. That's right.
And he's learning. Damn, I'm as fast, if not faster, than these guys I'm going to. You could almost see it in his eyes that now he understands.
Dan, I'm told that because he's a neophyte. Now, I don't think much is innate in terms of his instincts for the game, but he's so uniquely talented as he continues to evolve. I'm told that he does not have a option mentality. They tell him to give it or to keep it on these particular plays. When he evolves and he can read the defender and he takes it when it's appropriate to take it, Katie bar the door. He is going to be a sensation. I said at the beginning of the game, I took Alabama, and I said because Milroe's legs. Now, Milroe's legs weren't a factor in the game, but you could see what they did to Georgia's pass rush. Yeah. They were sitting there with the spy, and they were letting him back there count the house. Now, they got to him a few times because somebody would get off of that block, but ultimately, at the end of the game where they needed first downs, a 30-yard run and a 9-yard run were the difference. That guy is special.
If QB Kyle McCord is going to enter the portal with Ohio State, does that mean they're in the market outside of Ohio State?
Yeah.
They are.
They jettisoned him.
Okay.
That has to be the case. Yes.
Okay.
You don't leave Ohio State. There's no greener pasture, especially given the receivers that they have accumulated there. You need to look for someplace else.
If Quinn Ewers returns to Texas,
the one kid that is above the transfer portal madness won't get swayed by, wanting to play the musical chairs game. It would be Arch Manning. He won't get involved in all that. So Quinn Ewers, I would fully expect to come back and play again at Texas. Who wouldn't want to be the quarterback on the 40 acres, right? Given all the, fancy bells and whistles that go with that job. They're in the playoff for the first time. By the way, congratulations to Sark. It's the first time he's ever won 10 games. It's the first conference champion he's ever had. So wonderful job by him.
And they might be the fastest team in America. Texas might be the fastest team.
And you put those 2 beautiful defensive tackles in that in that shiny window. Yeah. I'm in New York right now. You know how they put all those holiday treats in the window? You put Devondre Sweat and Byron Murphy in there. Yeah, college football coaches would be sitting out there longing.
Okay, but let me go back to Arch Manning. He wants to play.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not about NIL. This is about opportunity. You could go to USC right now. You could go to Ohio State right now. And many others.
With Archie, with Peyton, with Eli and Cooper, patience will win the day.
Okay.
I think patience will win the day. He's different because he can be different.
Good to talk to you, bud. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Happy holidays, my friend.
Rick Neuheisel. Always good. Always enlightens us.